Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
With Robb Flynn.
What up? What up? What up? Podcast party. Peepo. What's happening? What's happening? I'm feeling pretty good. A rare Thursday podcast for me. I usually record them on Tuesday, if you did not know. I record them on Tuesday. I don't know why. For no reason in particular. This is a good day. Actually, it is for a reason in particular. Because Friday, I'm usually doing an electric happy hour. And talking for 2 hours on a Thursday makes my fucking voice sound like shit. That's why. So I do them on a Tuesday usually. But since I'm taking this week off from happy hours, I should say. You know, we took the week off from the happy hour, meaning we don't got to rehearse for the happy hour. You know, it's the whole thing. Taking a break from Twitch. You know what? That's what I should do. I'll go live on Twitch right now. Why not, huh? Why not? I can do that while I'm talking to you. I'll go live on Twitch. And, let me go on there, and I'll put this on. And I'll go live on Twitch. Twitchity Twitch. You know I'm on Twitch, right? You motherfuckers know I'm on Twitch, right? You follow me on Twitch? You should. You should. It's some good stuff. Podcast intro. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. Select a category. And just chatting. And start the stream. And then I'll put this right over here. I dropped my phone. Fuck. God damn it. This is such a failed podcast intro. There we go. Let's do this. Let me see. Fucking hell. There we go. Now I'm live on Twitch. Fucking fail. Jesus. That was so much harder than it needed to be. Oh, maybe I can put my phone here. Boom. Will it stay? No. Damn you, phone. All right, here you go. You're there. Here you are. Looking up. I'm looking down on you. You know I'm on Twitch, right? Twitch. Robb Flynn, twitch.com, Robb Flynn. No, it's twitch.tv/Robb Flynn, where I talk about, I jam. Sometimes I do the podcast intro. Sometimes I do the podcast. In fact, that's what I want to start doing. I tried to get OBS on my computer, and I guess OBS doesn't work with Macs, because I'm all about the Mac, bro. But I guess you got to get a PC to get some OBS shit going. Or you can do what I did with the other computer, which is where you install Windows onto the Mac. But it runs kind of shitty. I've got to restart the computer like 10 fucking times, dude. So annoying. But, you know, it gets working after a while. And then it doesn't look, I don't know if I'm live on Twitch yet. It says I'm live, but then I don't see anybody commenting, which tells me that there's a problem. I don't know, I do this. When I go live on my phone, it always seems to fucking act up. Act up. That's right. Don't act up. Ooh, my wife hates when I say that. Don't act up. You're acting up. And you know what she really hates? Don't get mouthy. If I say that to my sugar pie, woo, argument will go to DEFCON 10. DEFCON 10. Don't get mouthy, woman. I used to say that every once in a while, and she would get so fucking pissed. I've just decided to stop saying it because it's not worth it. And then you don't get no pussy for a while. You don't get no pussy for a week. And you're like, fuck, was it really worth it? Yes, it was. Don't get mouthy, woman. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, man. If you got a woman, you say those words, you're in the doghouse. You know it. You know what I'm talking about. There's a couple of things, especially if you've been married for a while, you've been boyfriend and girlfriend for a while. You know there's a button you can push. It's going to send her to fucking... You're guaranteed to be in an argument. But sometimes you just got to throw it in with a jokey face. Look, don't get mouthy, woman. Ha, 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 ha. And then it's okay. Then it's okay. You do it like that. So you get to say it, kind of taking a little jab, and then she'll go, don't. You can say it with that little jokey face, but don't go, I'm just joking, sugar pie. Don't worry. Sugar pie. Let's see. I told my story last week about her and our somebody what was it? Someone was like, sex confessions with Robb Flynn. I don't have any sex confessions this week. I'm not gonna do any sex confessions this week. But last week was fun. Oh my god, fucking Twitch didn't even go fucking live, you fucking cockface. You cockface. It does this sometimes. It's so fucking annoying. I'm just not going to do it. I don't even fucking care. All that for nothing. I guess we'll just edit all that shit out. Or maybe we'll just leave it in because it was just fucking dumb shit. Dumb shit. Perfectly dumb shit. I don't have a list of podcast topics to talk about. You know that? I don't. I've been, like I said, I've been taking the week off. Although I haven't, there's still work to be. Everybody thinks that like all I do is come down here and fucking jam on Twitch and do podcasts and like that's it. The money just rolls right in. Nope. No. Believe me, I could not live off of my podcast. The podcasting don't make a lot of money. I'm kind of just doing this for the love at this point. And I like the keeping in touch with people. I like talking to people. I like hearing their stories. I do like the podcast, but yeah, there's no fucking money in it. Even after I'm coming up on 2 years here. Dropped my first podcast in I want to say October, which was just announcing the podcast, and then actually dropped the first podcast, which was with Lars Fredriksson of Rancid, and that was January 2nd, which now that I look back on it, what a weird day to drop a podcast. The day after New Year's Day. Like, just everyone's checked out. No one was tuned in. But, yeah, even 2 years later, it's just squeak. It actually costs me money to do the podcast. Yeah, between the studio, the lights, my time to promote it, my time to do it, just fuck. I got some fucking, sex delay fucking, delay your fucking orgasm ad that makes no money. No money. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. But I keep on doing it. I started it. I'm going to stick with it. I do enjoy the actual act of podcasting itself. Keeps me connected. Some of them are getting in the fucking Randy thing. We're already over 10,000 views. 10,000 views. That Joey Jordison one with 26,000 views on YouTube. It's got tons of listens. I get the monthly listens too. I think a lot of you listen to it, which I would imagine would be easier because like watching it on YouTube might be harder. I don't know. You tell me. I haven't and you know what? I haven't had anybody write in to no effing regrets podcast at gmail.com in a long time. No one's written in. I've asked you guys to write in here and there. Nothing. Too busy to write an email, I guess. motherfuckers. I've got Chris Contos, my drummer from the Burn My Eyes album, and Craig Cicero, my former band member from Forbidden Evil and Forbidden, down the street. They're in a band down the hall at the studio. They're over at Shark Bite, which is just the next room over from me. They're jamming in the Boneless Ones, old school legendary punk rock band and skate punk band. They're next door, so I've been seeing them pretty regularly. Go over there, hang out. Gwen's over there, Chris's wife. So it's a cool vibe. They're recording the new album with Zach, my engineer Zach. And yeah, it sounds pretty good, man. Craig's been laying down the fucking guitar heat. Chris apparently laid down all 10 songs in like a day. So they're next door, though. They're rocking. Good to hang out. Good to see them cats. Good vibe when they're around. They're funny and loud. And you know, Chris Contos is loud. He's a loud man. He is. You'd like hanging out with him. He's a fun guy to hang out with. He can almost be too much sometimes. Sometimes you're like, whoa, bro, just enough coffee. You've had enough. You've had enough energy drink for the day. Enough. Let's see. I got Bryan from Knocked Loose, hottest hardcore band around at the moment. Boy, they're fucking killing it. Slaying it out on tour with Gate Creeper, who I just had Chase Mason on here. And, yeah, boy, they're killing it. And then they're getting ready to go out with Gojira, which he talks about. Pretty cool, man. Let's see. What else has been going on? What have I been doing? I've been doing nothing all week. You know what I did? I cleaned my house. I fucking cleaned the fuck out of my house on Sunday. Mopped that floor. I got a new mop called O Cedar. This is not a plug either. They're not sponsoring my show, but it's an O Cedar mop. And then it's got like a bucket, and then it's got the foot thing where you spin it around and it like gets all the excess. And then I use this shit called Zep. It's like a concentrated cleaner, like for, you know, laminate floors or whatever. And dude, shit smells good, cleans good. It's all soft on your feet. Doesn't leave like weird water stains. And yeah, so I cleaned the fuck out of my house, made my kids vacuum the upstairs, and then the other kid vacuum the downstairs. And then they had to clean the bathroom, which I love making them clean the bathroom. And then I mopped the fuck out of that thing, cleaned the whole house spick and span. And then I've been just cleaning. I've been fucking organizing the garage with my wife. We went and got all the Halloween stuff out and set it all up. I tell you what, it's good. Good going through your shit and just throwing shit away. Just fucking throw it away. There's so much we've got so much bullshit. And we're like, what? Why do we have this? Let's just throw it away. Get rid of it. Don't need it. I haven't even looked at this box for 6 years. I don't even know what's in here. Yeah. Yeah, for real. We had a little COVID scare this morning. Xander woke up and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to go to school." He's got a girlfriend now, so he's, you know, gallivanting about town quite a bit. And I don't know. I don't know if they're a girlfriend, but it's a friend who's a girl, and they kiss. Anyway, they've been going out, and all of a sudden he wakes up this morning and he's like, he's got a cough, he's got the sniffles. We're like, dude, you got to get a COVID test. You got to get, like, I don't want, if you get COVID, that means I might get COVID. I can't go down to my studio. It's going to derail all kinds of shit. So he's going to get tested today. Fingers crossed, we're good. Fingers crossed, we're good. But yeah, that's about it. It's nice to have a week off. I've kind of needed a week off. I've gone pretty hard. Working, writing lyrics, writing riffs, fucking setting up tours, preparing the new album. Yes, new album's probably going to be dropping end of summer or fall of next year. That's right. So we got to wait for vinyl. Takes forever now. You know, we got to do this right. It takes 7 months for fucking vinyl now. The record labels finally, all the majors finally figured out that, yeah, vinyl's hot and motherfuckers will buy vinyl like crazy. So now the major labels have taken over all of the record plants, which are in Eastern Europe. And though there are some in the U.S., they charge I mean, everybody wants to go through the ones in Eastern Europe because they're so much cheaper and they do a great job. And not to say that the American ones don't, but you're going to be paying a shit ton more money, or band's going to be losing a shit ton of money. So there's this gigantic fucking wait now. So even if I turn in the record in January, that means it won't even be able to drop until August. So when I say August, yeah, that's the plan. We're shooting for delivering the new album in January, which will feature some of the songs that we've released already. So it'll feature My Hands Are Empty, Become the Firestorm, the EP, the Arrows EP, 3 songs off of that, as well as I think 4 new songs. Right now I've got 3 of those songs, and 2 of them are short. 2 of them are short. One of them is 10-minute plus epic. 10-minute plus epic. So, I had Zach time it, and it looks like it's already about 42 minutes long with only the 7 songs. And I'm like, I don't want much more than that. I don't want a fucking long, I don't want a catharsis. I don't want 15 songs and 79 minutes. No, too much, too many songs. Blackening, 8 songs. Locust, 7 songs, 45 minutes. Perfect. I remember people were complaining about it when we dropped it. Too short, 7 songs, that's it. Too short. No, not too short. Perfect. 7 songs is especially with long ass songs like we got sometimes. It's perfect. We could drop the record right now. 7 songs, 42 minutes. Boom. Records are too long nowadays. People want fucking, they don't know what they want. I look at all these rap albums. All these rap albums come out. It's like, fucking, dude, 22 songs. Too much. Fucking Kanye West has dropped a record. 50 songs? No, dude. I don't want to hear 50 fucking songs. I want to hear some Gold Digger. I want to hear some Monster. Like, too many fucking Drake. A double album. Fucking this country artist Morgan Wallen. He's like all the rage this year. Fucking double album. I'm like, I don't need to hear 24 country songs. Come on. Granted, his songs are like 2.5 minutes long. So, kind of works out about the same almost. But, think about it, man. Paranoid, 32 minutes. Paranoid by Black Sabbath. One of the best metal albums of all time. 7 songs, one of which is a drum solo, and one of which is just a throwaway acoustic song. So really 5 heavy songs. Master of Puppets, sure. 55 minutes, 8 songs. But Ride the Lightning, 8 songs, like 40 minutes. Perfect. Linkin Park, 10 songs, 40 minutes for that first album, Hybrid Theory. That's what I'm saying. We need less music, not more. Anyway. Here to my guest. On to my guest. This is the hot song right here from them. The song's called Counting Worms. Check this shit out. Motherfucker scraping the strings up above the nut on his guitar. They show that in the video. It's cool. Woo. That's some guitar tone right there. Fucking breakdown after breakdown after breakdown. Know what I'm saying? This is Mistakes Like Fractures. right there. This is Dead Ringer. Which is part 2 of that fucking guitar tone is savagery. Fucking savagery, dude. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to my guest right now, the mighty Bryan Garris. Knock loose here on No Fucking Regrets. Bryan Garris.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you, man?
I'm good. I just woke up in Sacramento. We're playing Aftershock Festival today.
Yeah, I saw that, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's a pretty stacked bill.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. We've gotten to play it before, and it was like one of the cooler one of these fests that we've gotten to play. So we've been looking forward to it all tour.
Yeah, Cypress Hill's headlining, right?
Yeah,
That's killer. I don't know if you're a Cypress Hill fan, but I love Cypress Hill.
I am big time, and we played a fest with him earlier on this run, but our sets were at the exact same time. So tonight he's headlining our stage, so I'll be able to play and then relax and then watch him.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's like your stage is you guys, Anthrax, and Cypress Hill, right?
Yeah.
Fit for King opening.
Yeah.
And then the other stage, I guess, it's like the thrash bill. It's like Testament, Death Angel, Exodus, right?
Yeah, Exodus. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. You excited about seeing some of the other bands?
Definitely. It's like today's like a little bit smaller as far as a lineup. Like it's not crazy busy today. There's only a small handful of bands, which is going to make it definitely a little bit easier on us. We'll just be able to like casually bounce around. Whereas like usually these fests, we have like, we're still kind of new to these like outdoor American rock fests. So usually it's almost like we're just more excited to attend than we are to play. So we have like the schedule on our phones and we're all in the van. Like I'm going to be here at this time because I'm watching this band, but I'm going to dip halfway because I want to go over and make it to this band. And
right.
Today should be a little bit more relaxed though.
Are you still on tour after this? Like, do you get to stay? Because the Aftershock's like 4 days. It's like it's like 140 bands. Yeah. Something great. It's insane.
We are on tour. So we've been on a headline tour for 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah. And that actually ends in 2 days. And then the next day we start supporting Gojira.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Are you out with Gatecreeper right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I just had Chase on the podcast a little bit ago.
Yeah, he told me that's awesome.
Yeah, there's a good vibe, man. They're fucking that must be a fucking cool tour, man. That's a pretty cool, that's a very unique package.
We've been talking about doing it for a long time. I'm glad that it finally got to work out. It's been a blast.
Yeah, Chris Cale from Five Finger Death Punch just posted some footage of you guys playing in LA, I guess, the other night, and he was just like, fuck, you know.
Yeah, he came out. Homies. Yeah.
Did you guys know each other from Kentucky back in the day, or?
Not from Kentucky, but once we started playing, he's in Vegas. So anytime we're in the area, he would come out, and then he met our drummer, and then our drummer kind of just like met him, introduced him to us. And every time we're in the area, he's just like so generous, and like he has a brewery, and he's always like, yo, come through, like eat, drink, whatever. It was nice to see him the other day.
Right on. Yeah, that's awesome. He was in LA though, right?
Yeah.
Well, so 4 or 5 weeks headlining.
Yeah.
How's the tour circuit right now? Like COVID and like restrictions, like how is it going out there?
It's interesting because we talked about like the funnest way, like what would be the funnest way to come back after a year and a half of just waiting. And we decided that we should do like a bill of friends in smaller rooms, like underplays with no barricades. Like, let's just create the craziest shows that we can. Um, and then that snuck up on us, and we're here, and there were like brand new anxieties to it. And we were like, whoa, we were just like kind of thrown right back into this. Given like how things are now, going from being isolated for a year and a half, and now I'm just like face to face in all these small rooms with all these sweaty kids. And
Are you sticking your microphone into like sing along? Are you doing that?
So it's funny because I've never really, like, I do that, but I'm always so conscious of how I do it because my biggest fear is like busting a kid in the mouth.
Right.
So I kind of do like I hover it over their head. So that helped. And then our tour manager every day puts these little bottles of like sanitizing spray on all the guitar cabs. So I, like in between songs, I'll just pop back and like spray it down real quick.
That's a good idea.
But on the other hand, like it did what it was supposed to do, as in it's just been so much fun. Like just like nothing to worry about, just like show up, load in, play, and like every show's been sick. People are just so excited to be able to go again.
Right.
That like the attendance has been amazing. That's been amazing. And like it's allowed us to like in some of these cities do like 2 days in a row, which is like such
That's
a cool
awesome.
feeling. Like we just did 2 nights at Chain Reaction, and like every time we get to play Chain Reaction, it's like a special event for us because of just how legendary the venue is.
For
and
sure.
now we get to do it 2 days in a row. So it's been really, really awesome. And I think that will help. It's going to help like this transition into this Gojira tour, because that's going to be the opposite vibe wise. It's going to be like much bigger rooms, bringing a little bit of production with us, barricades, like, which we also love. But it's cool that after a year and a half of waiting, the first touring back is the best of both worlds.
Right. Yeah, that's killer, man. Good for you. Has it been hard to? I mean, I know a lot of these bigger tours are like everybody's in a bubble. They eat separately. They don't interact at all. I mean, I would imagine on the level you're at, that's virtually impossible.
It's we try. It really just depends. Like, so we're on a bandwagon for like, and it's the first time we've ever done that. So we just had a rule of like no guests on the bandwagon. We try to keep, we're just trying to be like conscious of what we're doing. And then like some of the venues are asking like no guests on stage, like on the side stage area. And I feel like all of our guests have been extremely like understanding. If I'm like, yo, the venue doesn't want you back here today, they're like, oh, it's all good. And but yeah, it's definitely been weird. I feel like I don't know, at the beginning of the tour we were like a lot more strict, and then you're out here for 6 weeks and things just kind of like slowly get more comfortable.
Right.
And then when we were in California, like obviously you run into like so many friends, and we had to be like, yo, we got to dial it back again.
Right. But nobody's got COVID the whole tour?
No, knock on wood.
Fucking amazing.
No, nobody in our camp has, and on the package really. I know that there was a scare with some allergies because just traveling around so much. We did a couple days of festivals where we played 4 fests in 4 days, all fly days.
Oh geez.
And we were just so exhausted from that we were getting like allergies and like the sniffles, but then we all got tested and everybody was good to go.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah,
Man.
it's crazy because like day one after the show, because it was like we played in Detroit, small room, it was packed, and the show was insane. And afterwards, we were all kind of just like, we definitely just got COVID.
Where'd you play in Detroit? St. Andrews Hall?
The Sanctuary.
Oh, okay. That's the downstairs,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
No, the downstairs is the Shelter.
Right. Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah. I made the same mistake. I kept telling because the Shelter is is where they filmed 8 Mile.
Yeah.
So I was like telling our guitar player, like, yo, this is where they, and then somebody was like, no. I made the same exact mistake.
Okay. Yeah, dude, I'm super happy for you that nobody's gotten COVID. That's fucking amazing. You know, on a tour that long. And I just saw Black Dahlia came through here, and it looks like nobody on that tour got it either. And again, like, you know, not really able to do the bubble like some of the bigger tours can. You know, like Korn, like everybody in Korn got, like everybody in Stain and Korn got the COVID, and they had to cancel, say, 8 dates, and you know. So.
Yeah, I know friends on. There was this fest called Sad Summer Fest. It was kind of like trying to do like a Warped Tour thing, and it was like a bunch of like pop punk bands, and I had a friend on that tour. Every member of his band got it except for him and the guitar player, so they had to do like acoustic performances for like 10 days. Yeah, and it's like one of those big outdoor traveling festivals, and it was brutal.
That's pretty cool that they stepped up though and just kind of switched their game like that. I mean, that's not an easy like
not,
to go from
not at all.
You know, playing pop punk to all of a sudden like, okay, I'm going to do acoustic shows.
Yeah, it's crazy that's even a conversation, because that would, like, for us, that would never even be a thought. Like if somebody has to go home, we're like flying in fill-ins or something. Like we have this joke that our guitar player Isaac is like one of the best musicians I personally know, and he can play every single one of our instruments, including sing, better than all of us.
Oh, shit.
So we were like, if any of us are down, Isaac just switches spots, and we're a 4-piece,
right?
And he just does that. And then like throughout the tour, like last night, the drummer of one of the opening bands, Magnitude, their drummer like came out and played a song with us, and just like for fun. So I feel like it would just be like musical chairs if somebody had to sit out.
Yeah. Breakdowns don't have the same power when it's on acoustic.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, you must be excited for that Gojira tour, huh? That's pretty big, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very excited. It's like, it was something that was talked about like before everything shut down, and then everything stopped, and we were like, just kind of like, hey, like, let them know that whenever they're ready to go again, like, we're here. Hopefully they like keep us in mind for like future scheduling, because it was just a tour that we really didn't want to lose. And I'm glad that it's here now. Like, there's not a lot of bands that Knocked Loose as individuals agree on. We're all very different musically, and Gojira is one of them. And so like there's a lot of Gojira in the van.
Yeah. Are you wearing a Garth Brooks shirt right now?
I am, yeah.
Nice. Is that a tour t-shirt?
It is. It's older than I am.
Is that like something you bought off of eBay, or did you get that at the show?
I found this while just like sifting through old t-shirts at some store.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was like a throwback from when you were a kid and went and saw Garth Brooks for the first time or something.
No. This shirt is literally older than I am. It has the date on it.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
That's killer. Did you pay hella money? I was just talking to my friend last night. He just paid $700. $700 for a Kill 'Em All original tour t-shirt.
Respect to your friend. That's fucking awesome. But no, I did not spend a lot of money on
Okay.
it. I think it was like $60.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good money for a fucking Garth Brooks shirt, an OG.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but it's not 700.
Was that did Thunder Rolls, was that like your jam back in the day?
I kind of like I kind of grew up surrounded by like any and all music. Like I just had it from like every direction. So like um my dad was much more of a like country head than my mom, and then
Hmm.
like my dad's side of the family. So like growing up, there was always like the classic country artists coming from that side, but then my mom and my dad even as well were like way more into like hip hop.
Oh
So
wow.
like yeah, so like hip hop was my main like love of music. Like growing up, I've just had such a musical family, and like 9 times out of 10 there would be radio playing instead of TV playing in my house. Like it was just always music. And but it was always like rap, hip hop and rap from like the 90s and early 2000s. And
So
that's
like
just what I love.
DMX, Wu-Tang, like what era of hip
Yeah,
hop?
like Rakim,
Oh
Biggie,
shit. Okay.
uh Nas, like all the East Coast stuff from the 90s, and then even like the early 2000s, like or like Outkast. Um,
Right. Like well now that Southern rap hit.
yeah, 3 6, like Bun B, all the like Houston stuff, like my
Ludacris.
yeah, exactly. And then me like love starting to love it on my own. That was like early 2000s, like all the like crunk stuff, like Lil Jon and Lil
Right.
Scrappy and all that stuff. So like I would come home from school and I would immediately put on like 106 in Park on BET and watch
Right.
like the top 10 countdown that played every day, like right when I got home from school. And that was before I ever like found like metal or hardcore or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild that your parents were like hip hop heads, you know,
Yeah, they're
in
pretty
Kentucky.
young.
You grew up
Yeah,
in Kentucky, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Born and raised,
Yeah.
and yeah, they're pretty young.
That's awesome.
And yeah, but it's also just like it's more than hip hop. Like it's truly everything. And I'm glad that that kind of like was passed down to me, because there's like literally not a single like genre, subgenre of music that I don't like.
Yeah.
Like I like everything.
Yeah, that's killer. That's killer to have that much music exposed in your house.
Yeah.
And like, and granted you're a little kid and you're listening to, some of those lyrics, some parents might not let their kids listen to. Like some of that
Yeah.
shit. I mean, not that Biggie was that gnarly, but certainly some of the West Coast stuff could be
Yeah.
out of hand.
Some of it was pretty crazy.
I
I
mean,
remember like,
even 50 Cent was like some of the songs of 50 Cent records were fucking crazy,
yeah,
violent, very violent.
I remember my parents, like, this is funny to think about now, but I remember my parents would, so if I wanted a CD, I had to buy the edited version, but then I would be with my parents and they would just be listening to unedited music. I was like, I'm still consuming it. I just can't like listen to it in my own Walkman.
Right. Did your parents like roll a blunt and listen to hip hop type of parents?
Um, so no, my parents are definitely like, um, they were partiers, but never like, but they were much more like, I don't know, just I feel like because I was the first, I have two younger brothers.
Okay.
Um, at I just never really like, so my both my parents are just very like, I'm trying to figure out how to say it. Um, they're they were really good at like, since they were young, like keeping me from them partying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I never saw it really, but it definitely happened. But then like now they're just kind of like chill, and they just kind of like sit at the table and drink and blare music. And
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I mean, I got a couple of kids myself, and certainly, early on in their lives, we tried to keep everything at least out of their sight.
yeah,
Like, I don't want to, I don't want to get drunk in front of my kids. Like, I don't want to,
yeah, yeah,
nothing like that. So yeah, I
of
get
course,
that. I get that. That's cool. I was
definitely.
just
And
curious because you're listening to like that kind of music is like, especially the East Coast rap was just like roll a blunt, get high.
yeah, yeah.
That.
And it's funny because like, so my whole life I've been finding music through them. And then when I kind of started transitioning into like metal and hardcore music, they like didn't understand it at all. They
Okay.
they they
Really?
supported it.
That's
They
strange to me because it's not that like hardcore hip hop isn't that far away from hardcore.
well, I mean like just like the screaming stuff. They just like
Okay.
they didn't really like understand it. And but they're supportive. They've always been extremely supportive. But then through Knocked Loose, um, they come to shows like obviously when we play in the area, and they started to enjoy it as like a bias because I'm their son or whatever. And then through that, they started actually liking it.
Oh
And
wow.
then now they're actually finding bands that they like.
Oh my
So
god.
like,
That's awesome.
yeah, so I don't live at home anymore, and I went back to Kentucky to start preparing for this tour. And they're both card players. So there was a night that they were like playing cards, just my mom and dad, and like drinking. And I came over, and my dad was pretty buzzed, and he was just sitting at the table by himself, like blaring Hatebreed. And I was like, what is happening? And they love Hatebreed. They love Every Time I Die.
Oh, that's
It's just
awesome.
crazy that they're just like now finding, like, they went to my dad went to see Hatebreed and Dying Fetus without me because I was on tour. He was just
He's
like,
like,
yo, can you?
son, can you get me into the hate read show?
Yeah, he literally did. I was just like, yeah, I probably can.
That's fucking awesome. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty
Yeah,
rad.
it's sick.
I heard that your mom was singing along on the side of the Louder Than Life stage when you guys played.
Yeah, yeah, because
That's awesome.
it's sick. Like it's my whole family. Like both my brothers are into this music. Like my mom and dad are now into this music. Like it's definitely like I'm definitely lucky to have like that in my corner.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I don't know how you felt about the first time about it. Were you just like, Mom, like stop doing or were you like, yeah, cool, my mom's singing along?
Um, I always just thought that it was sick. Like
Yeah.
she's not like screaming. She said she tried to scream in her car once. She said it sounded terrible. Um, but she does know the words, and she just like is over there like jamming out. It's really cool. Like even so, my aunt came to a Knocked Loose show once, and so I have several aunts, but one of them is the one that kind of like helped me transition into like metal and hardcore because she's always liked it. And then the other one was a little bit more like reserved and normal. And she came to a Knocked Loose show, and it was like a really small venue at home that we just jumped on to play with some friends. And she had like a very like generic experience with hardcore shows. Like, people say you go to hardcore shows and you can be yourself and no one's judging you and like the whole thing. So like she went, and she's always been like a quiet, like self-conscious person. And my mom said like, you can stand on the side of the stage with me so that you can see everything. And she didn't want to stand on the stage. But then at the end of the show, she said that a lot of people were just like being really kind to her, and she felt like nobody was judging her, and she was like standing on the side stage, but like nobody was staring at her. It like straight up changed her life. Like now she goes to shows and like she like shaved her head and dyed it blue and like yeah,
Wow.
like crazy. And like she just like found hardcore and like literally got to experience it and like exactly what it's supposed to be. And it just like changed. And I was like, yeah, like that's what happened to me. I was just like 14.
How old is she?
I'm not sure. I'm like terrible with age, but she's like
30s.
she's my mom. No, older. She's my mom's oldest sister.
Oh, okay.
So probably um late 40s.
Yeah, what a great story, man.
Yeah.
What a great story. Yeah, especially at that age to find something like that that you connect with and are inspired by and that
Yeah,
affects you
definitely.
that much. That affects you that much. You know, that's
Yeah,
really rad. I
absolutely.
don't think I've ever heard that. I've never even heard that kind of a story. That's really cool. You
Yeah.
know, everybody I
My
knew got into that kind of music when they were young. Might be
yeah,
might be getting out of that kind of music now. You know,
yeah.
like for her to be starting.
Yeah. My whole family just like getting into hardcore while they're much older.
Yeah, no doubt. Did your as you were telling me your story about your parents listening to rap, it made me think. Can your parents rap?
They can definitely
Like
sing
they can
along
follow.
with the
Yeah, they can rap
songs.
rap
Yeah.
along with the tracks and stuff.
I remember I remember coming home from school um as a young kid, and then they would get the new, we had like a record store by where we're from called Coconuts, and they they would get like the brand new like CD or whatever, like rap CD. And the hit, like the radio hit on the song on the record, they would play it and then they would start it over. And they'd start it over. And it was because they were trying to learn the words.
Right, trying to memorize
So
the words.
yeah, so like they know, they definitely can like keep up.
Damn, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. That's the shit that I do. When I
Yeah.
get turned on to a cool rap. I can't do it as good now. I used to be able to do it like crazy, and I don't know if my brain is full at my age. So
Yeah.
I can get like a hot verse, and that's about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I've been trying to like remind myself to like dedicate time to like consume new music, because I feel like it's really, there's just so much that sometimes it's easy to be like, to just listen to the single and not the record. You know what I
Right,
mean? So I've
totally.
been trying to get better at like diving in and just like being more aware. I've always kind of like been that way, and appreciate being that way. And our guitar player Isaac is just like, the day a record comes out, he's got every song memorized. Like he's just like a crazy person. So like he helps me keep up with it.
There is so much music out though. Like there's so many
Yeah.
bands and so many releases, and you
Yeah,
almost don't
it's
know
crazy.
where to start sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, just the other day, I saw somebody post like, here's all the new albums that came out today that you should check out. And I mean, like just in one day, it was like Dying Wish, Full of Hell, and like I can't even remember the other ones, but there was like 4 or 5 bands that released full-length albums like all in one day.
Yeah. Do you find that it's harder to check out new music when you're on tour?
Yeah, because for me, the place that I listen to music the most would be while I'm driving. So when we're in a van, no, because I drive like the majority of the drives. But now that we're in a wagon, like it's just so easy to kind of just like hang out and until you go to bed. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
I'm not gonna like sit in the um just in the lobby of the bandwagon and with my AirPods in while everybody's hanging out so that I can check out the new stuff. Um, so yeah, when I'm home though, I'm definitely a lot better at like putting stuff on around the house, like instead of watching TV or um, while I'm in my car. I've been, me and my girlfriend moved last year to a much more like popular area. So we've been walking a lot and like going on walks, listening to music or bike rides. Or
Where do
I'm a
you?
big record collector
Oh
as
yeah, like
well.
vinyl.
Yeah, so always playing like records in the house. And
How do you discover new music? Like YouTube,
social media.
social media. Okay.
Social media, yeah, like word of mouth, or like my brothers my brothers are younger than me, so like they're like they know about so much that I don't.
Right.
They put me on to a lot of stuff, and then um just social media.
Yeah. But like YouTube social media, or like, I mean, you're not on Facebook, are you? Like, you're not.
I have a Facebook strictly to just like update my extended family on like what
Oh,
I'm up to.
okay.
But like Twitter mostly.
Oh, okay.
Just like people talking about stuff on Twitter, people posting about it on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. YouTube is probably the app that I use the most on my phone, but
Hmm.
I'm watching like cooking videos. I'm not like really watching music on there.
I love that you just said you're watching cooking videos.
Yeah,
My son has been, I got a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old. My 14-year-old has been obsessed with cooking videos. And so he wants,
yeah,
and he's actually like, he's got like some cooking skills, like legit,
yeah,
like he can cook. And so he's like, Dad, we need to make this. And he came up, he like shows me beef Wellington. I don't know if you know what beef Wellington
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Dude, it's like a fucking 8 hour. I'm just like,
yeah,
dude, I'm like, come on, bro. Like, like American Wagyu. I'm like, we're not spending $100 on a
yeah,
fucking steak for fucking beef Wellington. We
yeah.
have to make all this
I'm
like,
all about it.
yeah, I want to make it at some point, but I was just like, let's simmer it down a little bit.
Yeah,
So we've
I
been
had the
doing,
same exact problem like over quarantine. Like I would want to do these like cooking projects. It was never just like, hey, I'm gonna make dinner. It's I'm going to make this. Like I made a I can't remember the name of it, but it took like 10 days
oh shit. Wow.
because I had to like make this brine, and then I had to marinate the brisket in it for
Oh, right, right.
7 days, and then I had to change it, and that had to marinate, and like then I had to cook it for like I had to slow cook it for like 7 hours, and like it was just like a whole thing. And like my girlfriend was just like, why can't you like just make dinner? Like don't it's always like a science
Though, like
project.
at the same time, if there was ever a time to do that, like it was during the pandemic. Like,
Yeah,
why
definitely.
not invest in, like what better have you got to do? We're all on lockdown. Like I did the same.
Yeah,
I kind of went cooking crazy during the during the pandemic too. Because
yeah,
like, what the fuck? Like, why not? So
definitely.
yeah. Who do you have like a favorite cooking chef? Do you have like a go-to guy?
Um,
YouTube channel, I mean.
recently I've been watching this YouTube channel called a cook named Matt.
Okay.
He's like he's tapped into like the so like TikTok is really popular, but I haven't like downloaded it yet. Um, but they have like TikToks on YouTube. They're just called Reels.
Hmm.
So it's just like a quick 2 minute cooking video.
Yeah.
And I'll just sit there and scroll through them for so long. So I watch him a lot, and then I watch Matty Matheson.
Yes.
Yeah,
Matty
I,
Matheson
I
is awesome.
I watch his stuff a lot, and like Brad Leone. He
Yeah. Shout
yeah
out to Matty
yeah
Matheson. He's a good dude. His shit's like
yeah.
decadent.
It's crazy.
It's
I got
really
his
rich.
cookbook for Christmas.
Oh, killer.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. He's given me a couple of his cookbooks. He's cool.
that's sick.
Yeah. I haven't dug into it. I feel like I watch his video, like before I read his cookbook, I would watch his video on how to make something. And I don't want
I
I don't mean to hurt your feelings, Maddie. I don't know why. I just would I would watch him cook a fucking something and then do that
yeah
rather than read the fucking cooking book.
yeah. I think that I definitely made a couple of things that he's made based off his videos. But I honestly I watch cooking a lot more than I actually cook. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're preparing for,
Yeah.
when you get off the road or whatever.
Yeah. I'm just like studying.
Right. You're not watching band videos.
Sometimes, sometimes like on my more tired days, I'll go through a whole thing of like getting pumped up for the show, and I'll just like watch watch the bands we're on tour with, of course, or I'll just like have a playlist of like stuff that will like help get me hype, and sometimes it's like live videos, and it really just depends. Like I fall for clickbait a lot, so sometimes I'll get on YouTube and
as we all do.
yeah, and like sometimes there'll just be like something crazy on my home screen. I'm like, well, I gotta watch this.
What I was thinking when I first started touring, or even not even touring, when I first started doing shows, I was playing I played in a band called Forbidden, and then later on a thrash band called Violence. And we were starting out in like backyard parties, living room parties. We were playing like community centers and church halls and stuff like that. Like, when you start a band now, like, where do you start? Just in the clubs? Are you still doing that? Is it still like that kind of stuff?
I think that it may depend on the band, but for us personally, we started in like the basements, the VFW halls, the like DIY spots, and we existed there for a really long time. Like we toured, we just wanted to like do it as much as we possibly could. So like we got our own van and we toured playing just like anywhere that would have us like
Well, you bought a van.
Yeah, we got, so our drummer's dad at the time helped us buy a $2,000 van from a church, and we were like, we're gonna pay you back. We're gonna go on the road and we're gonna pay you back. And then we toured 10 months our first year of touring.
Holy shit!
It was just like,
that's crazy.
We literally were just like, we would be on tour and we would play with a band that we would like, and we would go, you guys are sick, do you want to go on tour? Like, we'll start booking it. And they were like, yeah. And then we would just like put it together. And
this is like your earliest these are like your earliest shows?
Earliest touring, yeah. Like, okay, so good. when we first started in Louisville, we would do that in like a tri-state area, because like Kentucky is just such a small scene that we would make the drive to Cincinnati or Indianapolis or Nashville or even like Chicago.
Okay.
And so then when we started touring, we just kept the same like attitude. And there were times when, like, there was one time in particular we played Chicago, and we were like, hey, if you like what you hear, the flyer for our next show in this venue is already on the wall. Like, we'll be here in like 2 weeks on another tour. And that's just like how it was. And like, and I mean, back then, like, we weren't making money. We were working, like, I was delivering pizza in between tours. And it was literally just like saving the money so that I could afford to eat on the next tour.
Right.
And like, it's funny to think about it back then. Like, it was all just like messaging people, like, will you give us like negotiating, will you give us $100 to play your town? And they're like, I'll give you whatever the show makes. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And then,
like, you can't even get a guarantee for $100.
Yeah. And I mean, there were times that, like, one time we pulled up to the venue in Austin, Texas, and there was a kid that was,
that's pretty far from Louisville.
Yeah. And we pulled up.
Are you signed at this point? Is this prior to? Okay, so you're unsigned.
Yeah. And we pulled up, and there was a kid that was like a dude that wanted to go to the show at the doors of the venue, and he went, "Hey man, the promoter said the show's canceled because nobody will come." And we were like, "All right," and we just like got back in the van, and he
Oh,
was just like, "Hey, I'm gonna try to find a place for you all to play. If I find a place, would you do it?" And we were like, "Yeah." So we went.
yeah. You're like, we drove all this fucking way. We want to do
Yeah.
something.
So we went swimming, and then got a message, and he was just
Like
like,
in a pool,
"This
in a river, like
in
lake.
a Barton Springs in Austin." I don't know
Okay.
if you've ever been. It's just like the natural springs there, but
Oh wow, cool.
I remember it because it was our drummer's 20th birthday, and he messaged us and was like, "I found a place," and we didn't get to play until like 2 a.m. We played on the roof of some bar,
Wow.
and there was like
On the
maybe
roof of some bar, is that what you
30
said?
kids. Yeah, it was like a bar, but it also had like a rooftop bar, and they had a little stage in the corner,
Okay.
and like maybe 30 people there. Like, but I mean, back then it was just like whatever, you know what I mean? Like whatever you can give us, we'll take it.
Yeah.
And every tour that we did was like pushing it a little bit further from home. So like that tour was our first time ever to the West Coast. We went through Texas.
Yeah.
And since we did that, we went down through Oklahoma and Texas all the way up to the furthest we went was Los Angeles. And then we went back through the middle.
Mm-hmm.
We got home and immediately started a tour the opposite way. We went up through the Dakotas, Washington, down through Seattle, Northern California, and then back through the middle.
Wow.
Because it
I
was
mean,
just like we just wanted to
and
do it
are
as
you
much as
just
we
jumping?
could.
You're just jumping on other bands' bills? Are you touring with another band that like you're supporting another band, or you're
So,
headlining?
sometimes we were just by ourselves, and then
Okay.
sometimes it would be with like friends.
Yeah. So
And
like
it and it
Knock Loose is coming. Just get a couple of local bands to play.
yeah.
That's what you tell the promoter. Yeah.
Yeah, and if it was like we would hit up bands that we would know like from the area, like, "Yo, would you all play with us if we came through?" And like, "Do you know other bands that would play if we came through?" You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, or like, "Can you put me in contact with like whoever books the local shows there and stuff like that?" And yeah, just like just doing it as much as we could. I don't know. It was fun. It was like
That is awesome.
everything was just like such an adventure then, and then things kind of just like snowballed. That we ended up meeting our record label, and then things just kind of like started changing. There's no more like house shows and VFW halls unless we wanted that.
So this because you had a thing on, what was it, like something Heart
Little Heart
Records,
Records.
Little Heart Records. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
first
so
thing you
that
released,
was
right?
just a label.
So all of the stuff that you're talking about happens
No, so
before
Little
this.
Heart Records was like a record label based out of our hometown that was just our friend.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it wasn't really like a real label. Like he basically just paid for the CDs.
Okay.
He didn't like he wasn't helping with anything else, but he was a really really close friend of ours, and really helped us early on because like we couldn't have afford to had our own CDs, you know what I mean? Like there was a time when we were on tour and he was like, "How is it?" And I was like, "It's good, but we have like no merch, like we're out." And he just like fronted us merch, you know what I
Oh.
mean? Like he
Yeah,
helped a
I was
lot
wondering how
early
you guys
on.
were going to how we're covering all these expenses. If you're making like $100 and
It
yeah,
was all like just going right back into itself, you know
right,
what I
right.
mean? um
And I would
some
imagine coming from some of it coming from you guys yourself.
Yeah, yeah, self-funded, of course. Um and then we always like we would try to have like a big home show before we would leave for tour, and that would kind of like kickstart us with like that would definitely help. It was never like the that was never like the plan, like we're gonna play home to like make good money to start it off, but that always was like we started at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was definitely like, I mean, there was definitely things that we just straight up couldn't afford. I mean, like we did a tour one time, and day 2 we were in Poughkeepsie, New York. We drove from Louisville to upstate New York, and our van started like leaking something, and we took it, and the guy was like, "You have a blown head gasket. That's going to be $3,000 to fix."
Shit.
And I had never seen $3,000.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I was just like, man, like we don't have that. And he was like, well, then like this isn't drivable. Like you need to take it home. And I was like, home is like 15 hours away, and we have a show tonight here. And he was just like, I don't know what to tell you. We did the tour was only like 15 days.
Mhm.
This was day 1. We did the whole tour with a blown head gasket
Oh man.
because we just couldn't afford to fix it. And we drove on the highway no faster than 45 miles an hour. And anytime we saw smoke coming out of the van, we would just pull over, pour antifreeze in it. We were so late to like every show, and we just had to tell them like our van is like falling apart. And then we got home and had like 3 weeks before we were supposed to go on that first West Coast tour ever. So it was like, we've got to get a van. So it was like, sell this for as much as we can, take all the money that we just made from this tour, immediately buy a van. So then it's like, well, now how do we get merch? You know what I mean? Like it was crazy. It's crazy to think about all that stuff now.
It makes such a it makes you who you are, though. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff is just so much character. Putting fucking hair on your balls, putting hair on your chest. You know, like just making you, tough it out. And you're doing it for the love of music. I mean, so many like I remember the same stories like that, like right in an RV, RV explodes. Like we got to fucking, like the whole thing catches on fire. We got to evacuate. Like, and then we got rental cars to finish the rest of the, like 3 people on a rental car. Then we driving out of state. They found out that we were out of state. They put an APB out because they're like, thought we were stealing the cars and like, just
oh my God,
crazy shit like that. But, you're doing
That's
it for
insane.
the love, and the shows are fun, and you're,
Yeah, I'm sure you have some insane stories.
I mean, listening to you though, like it just brings me back. It's great that you guys did that. I think that, a lot of bands don't start like that. Sometimes I always trip off of Slipknot. Slipknot's first tour was Ozfest. That's wild to me. Like the very first tour you do is fucking, I mean, there was a ton of bands that their first tour was Ozfest. It's like, that's kind
I always think
it's not really a reality.
Yeah, I always say that, like, I think it's really important to play bad shows.
Right.
Like, so I feel like a lot of bands just want to skip bad shows. They're like, I'll play in New York and I'll play in California and I'll play the fests and I'll fly out, but I'm not going to do Ohio. You know what I mean? And It's like the bad shows just make the good shows better. And the bad shows are the kids that stick with you. I mean, like we've been a band now, we've been touring since 2014, and I swear there's still people that come that saw us played on the roof of that bar in Austin to 20-30 kids. Like those kids still come. It's like, it's crazy.
It's awesome. Yeah. And it teaches you, I think and sucking, like it's, you sometimes you're playing a shitty show and you're in a shitty mood, and it just sucks, and like it's okay to suck, you got to learn that you can like have a shitty night and like you'll just have a good night the next night. And,
definitely.
And even teaches you how to, I think when you're playing to 30 kids and maybe it's kind of a lousy show, although I gotta say I've played to 30 kids before where it was fucking amazing. They were just going so crazy the entire time. It was just like, this is awesome, like fucking who cares. But when you do play that show to 30 kids and nobody cares, it's like you got to learn how to work the crowd. Like you've got to learn how to connect and communicate, and try and
Exactly.
get something. It rewires your brain in some way. Well, fuck, man.
Completely agree.
I'm excited for you, dude.
Thank you.
I mean, I think it's crazy too because you guys had once that your first record hit, like it was big, like it was fucking like you were the hot band, It's a lot of pressure to go from granted you'd been touring for a while and you had a lot of experience, which is great.
It's new, like it's so different. Like even on like a tour like Gojira, like you can't talk to them like you talk to the kids at the VFW hall. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we're still like learning and adapting like every day, like and I love that we get the opportunity to do that because it's like where can we like let this band exist with, and like where will it make sense? And we just want to be everywhere, you know what I mean? Like we did a tour of the Day to Remember. That was probably
I saw that. That's killer.
Probably the wildest lineup that we've done as far as like the difference in acts. And it was like a whole thing, like how do you talk to this crowd? It was like a learning experience for us, and I really, really like value those moments.
How was that tour? How was the reception? It
was amazing. Like people like that, like so like growing up and like going to hardcore shows, you go to shows like every weekend. Like you go to the DIY spot and have friends coming through all the time. They're like a little bit more removed, and those are like concerts and events that they go to maybe once a year.
Right.
So like they want to have a good time, and they also really want to be told what to do. So like you tell them to put their hands in the air, and every single person there puts their hands in the air, and it's just a very, very like receptive and accepting crowd. And there were definitely days where there were people that were not expecting us to be what we were. But that's always fun to kind of be like the scary band. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that must have been. I saw them when they opened for Blink 182. They came through, and they killed it, But then they've got they're super heavy. Great guy, Kevin. I hit it up with the guitar player Kevin. I can't remember, brain farting on his last name, but they were super, fucking heavy when they want to be, like very heavy, like breakdowns. I love what's that song? Even their latest song was like the kind of fast one. Jesus Christ, I'm brain farting mania right now.
I'm so bad with song names.
Anyway, they did that, and then they'd go into like an acoustic kind of pop punk pop song, and like every girl is singing like crazy, and like it's kind of cool to see that they can walk that line between both.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I remember seeing them when I was like in school, play like a 400 cap room, and my friend booked it, and he was like, "Yeah, there's like 600 people here." Like, just sold it over cap, and we just thought that they were the biggest band in the world. And then getting to tour with them, and they actually are like just such a massive band. I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, I didn't know that they were like this big. Like, people are crazy about them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, dude, I hope you have an awesome show tonight.
Thank you.
Rip Sacramento to shreds.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it was great talking with you, man.
Yeah, it was great talking with you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And I wish you nothing but success. I hope you guys keep killing it. Congrats on the Gojira tour. That's fucking your main sport, right? Like that's that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are you guys coming through San Francisco on that tour? Do you remember? I think I saw it.
Not on the Gojira tour. We play Santa Cruz with our headline package.
Okay.
Tomorrow, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the closest though.
Okay. Right on. Well, we'll cross paths sometime, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But good rapping with you, and have an awesome day.
Later. Thank you.
Yeah, take it easy, Bryan. Ladies and gentlemen, right there, the mighty Bryan Garris, Knock Loose, the hottest band in hardcore. No fucking regrets.
No fucking regrets.
With Robb Flynn.